I'm sorry. I don't believe this. I was protect you.
H is for hope.
I could perform a cesarean, but the chances of success are small. Save the baby.
We're all gonna die.
Hold on, Larry, hold on.
H is for Holby City. The new series starts Thursday at 8 on BBC One.
You give us your verdict once again now on BBC One, and Terry Wogan's in the hot seat.
Oh, thank you, thank you. It's touching how overexcited you get each week about pointless views, but welcome to the show. I know you're quite pleased to see me, although, sadly, I have to admit, all that shouting and cheering came from another show, the all-new National Lottery.
It was a crass, stupid, pathetic, inane and senseless load of old rubbish.
Noisy, amateurish and insulting to the discerning viewer.
If I have to sit through that load of piffle again to get the numbers, I shall stop buying the tickets.
Why don't you come right out with it and say what you feel? And another 174 of you agreed. There must have been something in the show that appealed to at least one person.
There was but one short interlude that I enjoyed in the general banality.
Yippee.
Lulu and Paul McCartney's rock duet.
Yes. And from Light Entertainment, which pleased virtually nobody, to the Royal British Legion Festival of Remembrance. A nice, traditional affair, surely upsetting nobody.
We watched it with great sadness, wondering what has become of the wonderful ceremony we have watched in the past.
What on earth has happened to the format? Why so many changes?
What was going on? It was more like a variety performance than a festival of remembrance. They might as well have brought in Riverdance.
He's right, we've been up to our armpits in Irish dances ever since Riverdance. Well, this was the thinking behind the attempt to liven up the programme.
When the festival began back in the 1920s, it was a young man's occasion, a reunion of those who'd survived the Great War, and the emotions were very mixed. There was, yes, sadness for those who died, but also an exuberance amongst the survivors who wanted, like soldiers everywhere, to sing songs and to have a good night out.
But if the Royal Air Force appeared to be on cloud nine, Jay Wilson was still unimpressed.
Were the BBC trying to appeal to a younger audience? Well, it didn't work. I'm sure the Chelsea pensioners, like thousands of others, were disgusted.
Well, here they are, marching past the cenotaph on Remembrance Sunday.
Pensioners, all old soldiers, led by Brigadier Kim Ross, OBE, the adjutant. The rear is brought up by the Sergeant Major, Bob Appleby, MBE, who's a Coldstreamer, second to none.
But if complaints are still rolling in about the new Saturday night feel to the Festival of Remembrance, so is praise for the cenotaph coverage, which many of you very much enjoyed. And tying in with Remembrance Sunday and also attracting an enormous amount of attention, a new drama starring David Jason and Maggie Smith.
They went over the top that morning, Captain Burke leading and all of them in good heart. It seems there was a low-lying cloud, massing since the night before. And as they pressed on, the cloud, well, it came down and it covered them. It drew them in as if God himself was wrapping it round them. And that was the last anyone saw of them. I shall miss them all for the rest of my days, but I can't grieve for them.
What a great and thought-provoking tribute to Remembrance Day. This was a powerful drama which neither glorified war nor belittled the sacrifice made by many.
Thank you for such an excellent if harrowing programme. There were moments when my wife and I felt we couldn't look at the graphic portrayal of the plight of the Sandringham Company, but to have turned off would have been to dishonour the courage of lions led by donkeys.
Perhaps this superb programme will at last lead to the truth behind the loss of the regiment.
Also evoking a huge response, a documentary featuring undercover reporter Donald McIntyre, investigating the private care industry by visiting the Brompton home in Kent. Well over 100 calls so far.
As a care worker myself, I was utterly appalled at the treatment of those poor residents. The way the so-called care workers turned on them was shocking. Full marks to the documentary team for exposing this.
I had tears rolling down my face watching it. Why does it take an undercover reporter to highlight this abuse? Many thanks for making me aware of what goes on.
It was quality journalism at its very best. I was horrified by the treatment of the residents. The most poignant moment for me was when Donald McIntyre, through sheer patience, managed to get the autistic gentleman to eat his dinner, only to have his hard work destroyed in seconds. The picture of this poor, distressed man has stayed with me ever since.
The panic button upsets other residents, like Richard.
Yeah, stay hold. Sit down with me. Sit down.
I try other ways of calming people down.
You stay with me. No, you stay with me. Have a cup of tea.
With perseverance, it pays off.
Good man. That's very good. Are you going to finish with some... Just hold on a second. Just let everything settle. Yeah. Oh.
Although a lot of careful work can be undone in a moment.
Serves you right. So disgusting. Sit down. Just hold his wrist like that. I'll get
sure
some tissue. And that one.
Sure. You'll be all right. Yeah, no.
A few of you were concerned that the programme was sensationalist and misleading.
I watched it with horror. I own 2 care homes and a holiday company for people with learning disability. And I can say that the incidents recorded in the Brompton home are not commonly found in privately run homes, which is what the programme implied.
Well, only a very few took that view. On a lighter note, much appreciation for another reporter, none other than the BBC's chief political correspondent.
He was brilliant. Please give him his own show. There was only one really witty person on television this week, John Sargent. He was wonderful.
Here he is, talking about a certain weatherman.
All south of England he hated.
Yeah.
Not just the people in the office.
Absolutely. People under 10 foot of
Wipe it
water
out,
because he's in a bad mood.
Yeah. Just because he got angry. We all had to pay for it.
Exactly.
For years and years this was going on. Now it's out in the open.
So do you news reporters mix much with the weather guys? Or?
No, not now. Not after this.
No.
Won't touch him now. No. They respond so savagely to the slightest comment.
Right.
You know, they're very sensitive. They're artiste. You know.
Do you have a favourite weather presenter?
No, not really. I used to. We used to be very close, but I don't want to discuss that.
Now, for those of you who are always complaining about poor old Jeremy Paxman's abrasive manner, here's another snippet from the show.
The Mirror, have we got? Yes, the Mirror Victory. I don't know what I haven't actually got that front page in front of me. The Times has the news that... I'm afraid I can't read that either. The Independent I have got here, which is... we haven't got the Independent up there. The system isn't terribly helpful, really. I think I'll just leave it there.
Well, the man's a natural ad-libber. That's the redoubtable Jeremy for once at someone else's mercy. And also on the receiving end...
This programme should be retitled Jim Davison's D-Generation Game. It was unfunny, infantile and degrading.
Do you really think seeing people being smothered with coloured slosh is entertainment?
Well, the BBC do. They've been doing it for about 10 years. Well, do you, Jim? And if not, what's the reason for all the gunge?
We couldn't think of anything else to do.
Someone else on the receiving end this week, the insanely lovely Lawrence.
I don't normally like designer DIY, but to see Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen getting his comeuppance was sheer poetry. I can't understand why people are always picking on the much-maligned Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen.
It was brilliant. Please show it again.
Oh, no, we couldn't. We couldn't possibly. He's very sensitive. Could easily hurt his feelings. OK. Don't blame me if he gets cross. See you next week, 5 to 5.
I can't believe you're still here. This is ridiculous. I've got the shutters to go. This is going absolutely
Calm
crazy.
down, Lord. You make yourself ill. Calm down. Do you want me to get you a bottle of water or something?
God,
calm down.
Better than that.
Just...
Wait. I can't believe you've done that.
I knew it would end in tears. If you have any comments about BBC television programmes, keep them coming to Points of View, BBC Television, London, W12 7SB. Phone or fax 0181 811 1050. Email us pov@bbc.co.uk. Please don't forget to leave your daytime and evening telephone numbers.
Terry and Gabby have lots of fundraising ideas for this year's Children in Need appeal at BBC Online and www.bbc.co.uk/CIN.
Live from the Royal Opera House. A fresh blend of music, dance and celebrity conversation. Classic Cafe, Friday at 11 on BBC One.